All right, welcome back to ABA exam review and our latest RBT practice exam, where we're going through the next set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out btexamreview.com for all of our study materials, including our combo pack and practice exams. As always, when you pass, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. 56. Grayson enjoys taking baths, but will stand up in the tub when he is ready to get out. This poses a safety risk as Grayson could possibly slip and fall. His mom is teaching him to say all done when he is finished with the bath and reinforcing only when he says all done. What type of intervention is this? So we have an intervention question, and whenever you have an intervention question where we're specifically reinforcing the target behavior or the absence of a target behavior and putting other things on extinction, you should think differential reinforcement. Differential reinforcement is exactly that. We take a target behavior, we either reinforce it or reinforce it when it doesn't happen, and then we put other things on extinction. So with differential reinforcement questions, first thing you ask yourself is, am I teaching a replacement behavior? This will help you eliminate some answer choices. In this case, Grayson's current behavior is standing up in the tub. The mom is teaching him to say all done instead. Why? Because standing up is a safety risk. So instead of the possibility of Grayson standing up and slipping and falling, the mom just wants him to say all done so she knows he's all done. So are we teaching a replacement? Yes, we are. So since we're teaching a replacement, we can immediately eliminate differential reinforcement of other behaviors. We don't have to worry about DRO because DRO doesn't teach a replacement behavior. DRO reinforces in the absence of a behavior, but doesn't teach a new behavior. So all we need to focus on now is differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors or differential reinforcement of incompatible behaviors. This last one, differential reinforcement of lower rates of behavior, is a type of differential reinforcement, but not really one you need to worry about. So let's focus on alternative and incompatible. Both teach replacements. What's the difference? Well, with alternative differential reinforcement, we're teaching a new replacement behavior that can occur at the same time as the old behavior. Incompatible differential reinforcement, we're teaching a replacement behavior that cannot occur at the same time as the old behavior. So can Grayson say all done and stand up at the same time? Absolutely. That makes it an alternative to the behavior. If our replacement was sitting down, let's say, well, Grayson can't sit down and stand up at the same time. That's incompatible. So understand the difference. So start with, are we teaching a replacement? If we are, well, we can't use DRO. And then we ask ourselves, is the replacement behavior alternative or incompatible to the current behavior? So what type of intervention is this? Well, differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors. 57, you, a behavior technician, finally were able to secure tickets to the Taylor Swift concert this weekend. You're going with 4 of your friends. During one of your sessions, a parent tells you they are going to the concert as well. You end up randomly seeing them and saying hi at the concert, but nothing more. Have you done anything wrong? So let's think about this because we want to avoid dual relationships. And in this case, you haven't necessarily entered into a dual relationship yet. All we know is you got tickets to Taylor Swift and you're going with 4 of your friends. At a session, a parent says they're going to the concert as well. Well, we can't stop people from living their lives. You can't stop living your life, right? Even though we're not allowed to engage personally with our clients and stakeholders or friendly behavior with them, right, outside of work, things are going to happen, right? You may end up randomly seeing them as you did here and saying hi. Is there anything wrong with that? A, no, you did not cross any boundaries with your clients or their parents. Yeah, you really didn't do anything wrong. You didn't go to the concert with them. All you did was saw them at the concert. You're being polite. You say hi, nothing more. So far, you haven't done anything wrong. If you get to session the following week and the parent asks you to go to another concert with them and you say yes, now you've done something wrong. You just have to make sure that line between personal and professional isn't being crossed. So let's read B. Yes, you should not be talking about your personal life with your client's parents. Now, there's a certain point where you shouldn't be talking about your personal life with your client's parents, but you want to build rapport, right? And in order to build rapport, you're going to have to tell them something about yourself. So it isn't necessarily wrong to tell them you're going to a concert. C, yes, you should not have gone to that concert. No, absolutely not, right? You still have a life outside of work, even though we've got to keep the two separate. There's nothing saying because your client's parents are going to the concert that you can't go. And then D, yes, you should not have said hi to the parent outside of working hours. Now, this one's kind of tricky. You don't want to go out your way to say hi, right, to people. Some people don't want to engage like that or don't want other people to know what the situation is. But you randomly see them, you say hi, nothing more. You haven't really done anything wrong in that context. So, have you done anything wrong? No, you did not cross any boundaries with your clients or their parents. 58. Miss Carlina walks around the room with a box of colored pencils. She stops at the desk of each student, holds out two different colored pencils, and waits for the student to take one. She then repeats this until every student has a pencil. Relative to a preference assessment, what type of assessment does this most resemble? So the giveaway here, right, making it very straightforward, is we're doing a preference assessment. So we just have to pick what preference assessment best fits this scenario. And with preference assessments, we always ask ourselves first, how many stimuli are we assessing at once? If it's a single stimulus that we're assessing, we're likely doing a single choice. If we're doing two stimuli at once, it's likely forced choice or paired choice. If we're doing three or more stimuli at once, it's likely multiple stimulus with or without replacement. So how many stimuli is Miss Carlina assessing at once? Well, she has a box of colored pencils, but she's not assessing the whole box each time. Instead, she's stopping at the desk of each student and holding out two different colored pencils and waiting for the student to take one. So she has her box of colored pencils. She walks up, she holds out a red and a green pencil, waits for the student to take one. So she's really doing two stimuli at once. So what type of assessment does that resemble? A, single choice. Well, no, because a single choice would be taking one pencil. Do you like this? Do you want this? Are they going to take it one at a time? Instead, she's taking two at a time and forcing them to choose between two colors. It's not multiple stimulus, because multiple stimulus would be some sort of systematic way of presenting three or more colored pencils all at once. Instead, she's taking this forced choice approach where she holds two out, waits till the student to take one, and then repeats this until every student has a pencil. So even though it's not technically forced choice, right, because she's not comparing all colors to every other color, the question is asking, what does it most resemble? And so we're looking for the best answer, as always. And so the best answer is going to be forced choice based solely on the information provided. 59. You, a behavior technician, just passed your exam and are excited to start working. On the first day of your new job, your behavior analyst asks you to perform a behavior intervention that you've never heard of before. How should you respond? Now, the worst thing you can do is try to pretend either you know what they're talking about, even if they don't, or even worse, try and actually implement the intervention, even if you don't know the intervention or how it's done. So remember, RBTs only practice within competence and after they're trained. And if you're not competent or you're not trained, it is your requirement to seek training. So in this case, even though you're excited to start working, your analyst wants you to perform an intervention that you don't know. So one, you're not competent in it. Two, you're not trained in it. Therefore, you need to seek both. So how should you respond? A, attempt the procedure and then ask for feedback from the analyst. Well, no, you don't know what the procedure is. Last thing you want to do is cause harm to the client by doing the intervention wrong. So A is a very bad decision. B, inform the analyst that you need more training on that intervention before you feel comfortable performing it. Absolutely. You're part of the team. You have a voice. You need to use that voice. And if you're not comfortable doing something, you need to state that and make that clear to your analyst. And they need to provide additional training and competence training before you're allowed to engage in that intervention. B looks good. What about C? Admit that you have not heard of the intervention before and request to come off the case. Well, you don't need to come off the case. It's a great learning opportunity, right? But you do have to let them know, hey, I'm not familiar with this intervention. I need additional help. There is nothing wrong with that ever. D, do your best with the intervention for 1 week. And if you are still struggling, seek additional training. Again, the worst thing you can do is just try to attempt it and hopefully things work out. Behavior interventions can be very powerful, and they can change behavior either for the better or for the worse. And if you're not intervening correctly, there's a chance you're going to be changing behavior for the worst. Don't take that risk. Instead, go by the ethics code, inform the analyst that you need more training on that intervention before you feel comfortable performing it. There's nothing wrong with that, and your analyst can't make you feel bad for that. It is their job to train you and make you competent in any intervention that they want you to run. 60. Jay is now allowed to stay at home by himself. The exterminator is coming to the house today, and Jay will be home alone. His dad wants to show him how to open the back gate and let the exterminator get to the backyard. The chain is grab gate key, walk outside, unlock gate, put lock on kitchen table, keep key in lock until done. How would Jay's dad teach this using total task chaining? All right, we have a term here, so let's define that. What is total task chaining? Total task chaining is when we teach the entire behavior chain all at once. We need to teach this entire chain to Jay and then just focus on the steps he might struggle with. This is a long question, right? There's a lot going on. But all we're really worried about is how does Jay's dad teach using total task chaining? We have the chain here, right? Grab gate key, walk outside, unlock gate, put lock on kitchen table, keep key, and lock until done. So Jay's dad, all he's going to do is teach this entire chain to Jay and let Jay perform the entire chain himself, and then focus on what Jay struggles with. So that's the answer choice that we're looking for. A, instruct Jay to start, and when Jay grabs the key independently, reinforce Jay with praise. Well, grabbing the key is what? That's the first task. And when you reinforce the first task, you're forward chaining. So A looks like forward chaining to me, not total task. B, walk Jay through all the steps, but have Jay keep the key in the lock independently and then reinforce Jay. So when we walk through all steps and have them perform the last step independently and then reinforce, what is that called? It's called backwards chaining. B looks like backwards chaining to me. C, have Jay complete all the steps independently and then focus only on steps Jay might struggle with. Yes, total task chaining, let Jay, because Jay might be competent already, it might be an easy task chain, we're not really sure, but to total task, we're going to let Jay complete all steps independently and then only focus on steps Jay might struggle with. And then D, once Jay masters the chain, move the location of the key around so Jay has to search for it. That would be behavior chain interruption strategy. We're not there yet, right? Jay has to master it first. So if we're going to use total task chaining, we're going to have Jay complete all the steps independently and then focus only on steps Jay might struggle with. 61. Joanna only has 20 minutes each day to observe Lisa at recess. Joanna wants to use whole interval recording to measure engagement with peers. How might Joanna set this up? All right, so Joanna has 20 minutes to observe Lisa, but she's usually using interval recording. So if we're going to set this up using interval recording or time sampling, what's the first thing you have to do? Well, you have to break that 20 minutes, that total time, into smaller intervals. That's the entire idea behind interval recording. So since Joanna only has 20 minutes, we're going to break up that 20 minutes into intervals. And then each interval, Lisa must engage in the behavior the entire time because we're using whole interval. So there's two parts to this answer that we're looking for. So A, create intervals that equal 20 minutes. Good. If Lisa engages with peers at any point during the interval, record a response. What's wrong with that? Well, we need whole interval, meaning Lisa needs to engage for the whole time. This is describing partial interval. If Lisa engages with peers at any point, we need the whole time. A is out. B, measure Lisa's behavior during the entire 20 minutes and calculate the total time Joanna engaged with peers. We're not looking for a total duration here. We're not measuring out throughout the entire 20 minutes straight. We're breaking it up into intervals and just recording a response per interval. So B looks more continuous to me. B is out. C, create intervals that equal 20 minutes. Good. If Lisa engages with peers during the entire interval, record a response. Perfect. We have our intervals, right? That equal 20 minutes. And then Lisa engages with peers throughout the whole interval. That's perfect for whole interval recording. C looks really good. D, Joanna should only use continuous measurement to record this type of behavior. No, there's nothing wrong with the type of interval recording that she's doing. So we just have to set it up correctly, meaning we're going to create intervals that equal 20 minutes. If Lisa engages with peers during the entire interval, record that response. So a little more of a technical question. You have to think a little more analytic, but hopefully you were able to figure it out. And if you did, great job. If not, no worries, right? Use it as a learning moment. Go back and review interval recording and time sampling. And then finally, 62, when is it acceptable for behavior technicians to discuss confidential client information with others? So an ethics question, a privacy question, a confidentiality question. When is it okay for you, the behavior technician, to discuss confidential client information with others? A, when directed or told by their behavior analyst to share this information. Yes, A is absolutely part of the ethical code. If you're told by the behavior analyst to share the information, you've got to trust them, and it's okay to discuss it. B, if protecting the client is reliant on sharing the information, absolutely. Number one priority is do no harm. So if sharing this information is going to protect them, we should absolutely share it. C, if a legal matter calls for the information to be disclosed, again, absolutely. If legally you have to share it, well, you don't have a choice, right? You've got to share it. So all of these look like situations where you should discuss confidential information when you're told or directed by a behavior analyst, when you're using it to protect the client and do no harm, and then if a legal matter calls for it and you have no choice. So when is it acceptable for behavior technicians to discuss confidential client information with others? Well, D, all of the above. Thanks for watching. Check out btexamreview.com. Make sure you subscribe to ABA Exam Review on YouTube so you get all of our updates. As always, when you pass, let us know so we can include you in the Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.